I really wish there was a ladies' planeswalker society near us. That way I could maybe convince Rebecca that Magic isn't the worst game in the world.
Yeah, they occasionally here they have events where they'll teach beginners how to play.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about trying to get my wife to go. She visited today, so she met some people. Said hi.
That's a start, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a start. And she plays Plants vs. Zombies Heroes, and there's a lot of parallels in the rules, so I can explain things to her by telling her in Plants vs. Zombie terms.
Yeah.
Is she a gamer in general, Nate?
Not really, but she likes playing certain video games, and I encourage that.
Yeah.
If she plays a game, I'll play it too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katie also plays a select few video games, but I can only play so much Candy Crush before I'm done.
Yeah, I still play Pokemon Go from time to time.
Yeah, I play that still.
But you also have a kid, so I'm sure that helps.
Yeah, but my kid's not old enough for Pokemon.
What?
No, they are. I promise you right now, she is.
My kid thinks that yellow is a number.
She's old enough for Pokemon. I'm literally telling you right now that she is. That is the exact demographic.
Okay.
Human child.
Whether or not you want to introduce it to her, that's up to you. I mean, that's an entirely different conversation.
It's going to start a commitment.
No, I mean, I don't care. I just, I don't know.
I mean, if you do play Pokemon Go with her, she's going to be asking you to catch Pokemon all the time.
No, Paisley's counting right now goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 6, yellow, 9, 1.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
She's ahead of the curve as far as I'm concerned. I mean, she's what, 2? 3?
Yeah, she's 2 and change.
That's plenty. That is plenty good for 2-year-olds. I knew some kids in kindergarten who did not know the numbers past 7.
Well, that's definitely her. She can tell that a dog is not a cat or a snake, though, so
that is like pro at 2-year-old.
Yeah. She's gonna get one of those corporate executive 2-year-old gigs.
All right. It's Commander Time. Welcome to Commander Time. We are yet another podcast about the Magic the Gathering format known as Commander. Do we have something funny here?
Where does a general keep his armies?
Oh God, no, Patrick, no.
Where does General keep it in his sleevesies?
No,
yeah.
Don't do it.
Sweet. All right.
Ugh.
I'm Nate Burgess.
I'm Dean Goody.
And I'm Patrick Cipolla.
Today, we're going to talk about some GPs.
Woo!
Dean went to GP Richmond a little while back.
Yeah.
I just came back from GP Vegas, and Patrick will tell you the plan for GP Minneapolis. So we got past, present, and future GPs. GP.
Yeah, I'm really jealous I missed GP Vegas. I was supposed to go, but it all fell through for me.
If I had several $100 more in my bank account, I could have gone.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, we probably won't talk about games we played with each other because Dean and I are going to talk about all the games we played at our GPs. We can tell you what our pets have been doing, and I'll tell you more about the goofy song later on. Shout out to our patron of the week, Richarizard.
So, Nate's going to play a clip now, and it's just me talking about some games I played at GP Richmond, where I had an absolute blast.
And away we go.
GP Richmond.
The main topic.
GP Richmond.
Oh yeah, you went to GP Richmond.
I did. I was able to attend largely due to my friend Oliver's generosity. He was going with his girlfriend's son Mateo, and they had an extra spot in the car and offered to take me and another of our play group, a friend named Jay. So we all went down, and it was awesome.
How far a ride for you?
It was an 8-hour ride down. We got stuck in traffic behind an accident like 15 minutes outside of the GP and got delayed. Jay was going to do a draft or a sealed event or something like that, and he missed it because of the accident. And then on the way back, it was 10 hours. We hit like 3 or 4 accidents on the way back.
Wow.
DC's crazy.
That's what the girlfriend has always told me.
Oh, is she from the area?
Yeah, she's from like pretty much like 2 hours outside of DC, so that is a constant in life there.
Definitely avoid DC. So everybody else that I went with played the main event. It was sealed. Amonkhet sealed, I think. And I just played Commander the whole weekend and hunted for treasures in the bulk boxes, and then I did do one single draft, which was fine. I didn't win or anything. I went 1-1 and then I dropped.
Yeah, the bulk boxes are fun. I like those.
Oh my god, they're so much fun. What's your best pull from a bulk box, Nate?
Foil Endbringer. I think I got a foreign language one, but I don't like it because I don't remember what all Endbringer does all the time.
Yeah,
gotcha. He does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's like a charm.
Yep. It's like a planeswalker.
Yeah, or a planeswalker.
He pings and untaps and...
that you can use each turn. No,
something else.
The untapping is something he just does. He pings, he draws a card, and he makes a creature either have to block or not be able to block. Or maybe attack. I can't remember. So yeah, that was fun. I forget what my best bulk pull was. I found a bunch of Gitrog monsters for 50 cents. That was pretty good. This wasn't really bulk box. I found 3 Gold Border Academy Rectors for $1 a piece. That was a pretty good pull. Wow. Yeah. The one is beat to hell, but the other 2 are in decent condition. Okay, so yeah, the first game I played, we got there at like 5 o'clock, which the GP had already been going on since that morning. So I joined up with a sanctioned EDH game, played Mono Red Grenzo versus Gisela Hate Bears, Gerard Good Stuff, and some guy's Azuri, really goofy, janky Azuri deck, Azuri Claw of Progress. So, let's see, Gisela and I took out Gerard because he was getting a really scary board state, and Azuri just kind of dirtled on his turns. And then I ended up killing Gisela, and then Azuri ended up taking me out.
Not so goofy now. What made him goofy?
It was pretty goofy. But yeah, no, it was definitely not what I was expecting to win, and that was probably the thing that killed me.
Well, what made him goofy?
Just some of the cards were a little bit janky, you know? Oh, I can't even remember. It was just... I just remember it was not a very tuned Azuri deck.
Okay.
Yeah. Day 2, I was the first one to sign up for the first pot at 8. The first game took an hour to start, maybe a little bit longer even. Everybody else was signed up for the main sealed event. So I had to wait for some people to scrub out, I guess. The first game was me playing my Athreos Apostles deck versus a Sliver Overlord versus Krufix Eldrazi versus Riku Good Stuff.
Ooh. That's a powerhouse game right there.
It was a lot of fun. I ended up winning that one thanks to Krufix casting Ugin and wiping the board of all the Slivers.
Well, then how'd you kill Krufix?
Krufix. I think I comboed out with Blood Artist.
And you know what? You're not even a combo player, Dean.
I'm becoming one, though. I mean, I just built that Izzet deck that won with Paradox Engine.
Yeah.
A
lot of things combo with Paradox Engine.
It seems like it.
Quote, unquote, combo.
It's a 1-card combo?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, 2 cards.
Well.
All you gotta do is cast a spell.
1 card in your hand. Yeah. Game 2 for that day was Krufix versus Gerard Good Stuff versus Riku Good Stuff versus Thracia and Timna Flash Hulk, which was a kid named Ian, who I didn't get along with at first, but we ended up sorting it out. In our very first game, he took issue with the way I was mulliganing. I set my hand aside and drew another one, and we had to call a judge, and the judge ended up ruling that I had to shuffle my hand in. Yeah. Competitive EDH. It's a thing. So, in that game, Flashhawk won, I think on turn 4. I cast Collective Voyage and ramped everybody up ahead to, turn 6 man or something like that. So he Flashhawked, and he played through 2 counterspells, 1 from me, 1 from Riku, and then a spot removal from Gerard. And yeah, just played right through it. It was like it didn't even matter what we were playing.
So when you say Flash Hulk, what does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. So remember last week when we talked about the Protean Hulk unban, the 6/6 for 5 green. When it dies, you can find any number of creatures with converted mana cost 6 or less.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that thing is a combo engine. Yeah, combo engine all on its own. You cast Flash, which is an instant for 1 in blue, and it puts a creature into play, and then if you don't pay its mana cost -1 in blue, you have to sacrifice it, which is exactly what the Protean Hulk wants to do. It wants to be sacrificed.
Right.
So you go and tutor up some combo pieces like... Patrick, what could you find?
Oh, sure. Oh. It's almost like I've been researching this for the past couple of weeks.
Almost like you have been.
Yeah. All right. So let's go with Teamer combo. Let's go with Volrath Shapeshifter plus Priest of Urabask on the first one. Then we sack Volrath Shapeshifter, which had become Protean Hulk. We grab Body Double, then Skirt Prospector. We sack the Body Double, which is the Protean Hulk. We grab Feldon of the Third Path, Lightning Baller, and a Goblin. Then we do a Feldon of the Third Path targeting Protean Hulk. We grab Deceiver Exarch, another Goblin, Sylvan Safekeeper. Then we do Feldon of the Third Path again on Protean Hulk and get Kiki Jiki. And you win.
Yeah, you do.
It seems like you could do that with fewer cards, though.
It just pulls all the cards out. It's crazy. This one was basically Boonweaver Giant without Boonweaver Giant. He went and found Karmic Guide and... help me out with the combo, Patrick. It's Karmic Guide and
oh, yeah.
Revel
then
Arc.
he probably... Yep. So you grab the Karmic Guide and usually something like Sidisi's Faithful.
Yeah, this wasn't that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of ways, but you basically just need to grab your Karmic Guide first to pull back the Protean Hulk, sack him again.
Yep.
You can oftentimes grab Safi Eric Stoder
That's a good one.
as well.
Yep.
Felidar Guardian is another good one.
Sure, for the blink.
That way you can start blinking through a whole bunch of these interactions. I mean, there's so many things you can do with it.
Yeah, I think what he did, it was Karmic Guide and Carrion Feeder, so he had a sacrifice outlet there, and then he went and found... he sacked the Karmic Guide and went and found Revel Arc to reanimate it, and then, found a Blood Artist, and then it was infinite death triggers, and he drained the whole table with Blood Artist.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at that point, you could have also gone with Viscera Seer, Micaeus the Unhallowed, and Walking Ballista.
Sure.
I mean, these are not hard. Like, if you have the cards in hand, if you have Flash and Protean Hulk, it's not hard to do these things.
Right.
Or you could get 6 Shadowborn Apostles and sacrifice them to get a demon.
Oh my god, that's broken. Who would do that? So then our game 3, it was... me playing Burrell counterspells specifically because I was playing with Ian again, and I wanted to try to counter. I wanted to counter his combo, so it was me playing counterspells. Thrasios and Temno was Ian again, and then we had Prime Speaker Zagana and a Perforos deck. Ian won the flip and went first, and he tutored up Flash with Mystical Tutor on turn 1 or 2, and then he comboed off on his turn 3 before the rest of the table got their turn 3. It was disgusting. I think when we first talked about it, I said Protean Hulk was probably fine. I emphatically rescind that. It probably needs to be rebanned.
If anything, it just emphasizes the need for more spot exile removal specifically.
Well, let me go back to that first game where we had 2 counters and a spot removal. And it played right through. It warped the game around it.
Well, yeah. The Hulk is pretty much at the power level of, if you're running green, you should probably have a Hulk in there, even just for value.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But it's a difficult thing to... Well, maybe not. If you steal it and it dies, do you get it, or does the owner get the trigger?
You get it.
You get it, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Even so, I don't know. I think it's probably a little bit too game warping. I think it does pull it pulls all the removal, and then, maybe you want to clone the Hulk or copy the Hulk or steal the Hulk so you can get the same triggers even just for the value if you're not going to combo off.
Mm-hmm.
Game 4 was a fun casual game. It was me playing Krufix Hugs versus Mazarek Tokens and Prime Speaker Zagana. Mazarek ended up winning that one with Winding Constrictor and Gerard. So sacrifice all the stuff, put more counters on things, and then drain all your opponents with Gerard. It was a pretty good game. That one there was a lot of interaction and a lot of go around. Game 5 that day was probably the most educational game that I played in recent memory. Actually, I was playing Krufix again versus Kineos and Tiro Group Hug. My Krufix is a little bit more control-y and force feedy than true Group Hug, but this was just straight up Group Hug. And then there was another Krufix deck, which was sort of mean stuff. It was some Eldrazi, but also just other like really nasty kind of control and removal spells and stuff.
Whoa.
And then we were playing against Azuri Infect. And that game is really nasty when nobody even bothers to do anything with the Infect player. He just was irrelevant the whole game. He couldn't do anything.
That's impressive.
It really was. It turned out that Krufix versus Krufix was pretty strong. And I had traded into Boseiju, Who Shelters All, that day, before this game, and I had just put it in the deck. And it became relevant. I had out Boseiju. Oh, I should probably let you guys know what Boseiju does. You could pay 2 life and tap it for a single colorless mana, and when you use that mana to cast an instant or sorcery, it can't be countered by spells or abilities. So I put one of those into Krufix, and I think I had Heartbeat of Spring out, which doubles all your mana from lands, and I also had Doubling Cube out, which you can pay 3 and tap it to double all the mana in your mana pool. So the fun thing about the mana from Boseiju Who Shelters All, if you double it or keep it on Krufix, it keeps the quality of being uncounterable. So I had, as I had 12 mana sitting on Krufix from Boseiju Who Shelters All, and I had a Forbid in my hand where you can counter the spell and discard 2 cards to keep it, to buy it back. And half of my library was in my hand. And I countered my way through the other Krufix trying to go off and made him draw his deck. And it was pretty glorious. I made him draw his deck in response to things and then countered his responses, and he couldn't counter my counters. It was really cool.
Counterfight.
Yeah, it was a counterfight, but it wasn't a fair counterfight.
No, it was the kind of counterfight that I think Nate prefers.
I don't like counterfights.
No?
Well, it's a counterfight that can't be countered.
It was fun because it wasn't just counter spells. I threw in a Stroke of Genius to try to draw him out in response to something else that he did, and then he tried to counter that, and then I countered his counter and made him draw anyway. I think he actually did end up losing by drawing his deck from his own Zendikar Resurgent, because he also had a Flash Enabler. So he was casting creatures in response to my stuff, and he made himself draw.
So everybody at the table had both blue and green in their color identity. Were there any cards that you saw everyone use?
No. Kineos and Tiro, like I said, was true Group Hug. So she was playing Howling Mine, and the one where you can tap it and everybody draws a card. Temple Bell.
Temple Bell.
Yeah, and then Krufix was playing stuff like Ugin and Kozilek, and Azuri was playing Infect. So there wasn't really overlap in strategies, just in color.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't really remember how game 1 on day 3 went. There was a combo, but I don't remember what it was, but Walking Sponge was hilarious. Somebody played Trimacrata Sea Creature Tribal with Walking Sponge. It didn't win, but it was pretty funny. Game 2.
Looking up,
okay.
Walking Sponge.
Yeah, let us know what it does.
Tap, target creature loses your choice of flying, first strike, or trample until end of turn.
Your choice.
Yeah, that wasn't actually relevant, but it was pretty funny.
All right.
So yeah, this was day 3. I played 4 games total. Game 2 was me playing the original Kozilek versus Maelstrom Wanderer versus Brutal Light of Alabaster versus Marith Will of the Wild. And these were all pretty tuned decks, which made for a pretty intense game. Unfortunately, I was the scrub. I couldn't ramp fast. I think I only got 1 mana rock that game, and I kept drawing lands. And Maelstrom Wanderer ended up winning with a Mist Hollow Griffin and Food Chain combo for infinite mana, infinite casts, and infinite cascades off of Maelstrom Wanderer.
Neat.
Yeah, super neat.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd do it.
Yeah, for sure. Game 3 that day was Krufix, me, versus Kaneo Santiro, versus Gabe Guru of Spores, versus Captain Sisse. This was a bit of a longer game. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of board wipes, a lot of removal, and then everybody ended up scooping to Captain Sisse when she got out Elish Norn and Living Plane, wiping the board of everybody else's lands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last game that I played at the whole GP, I didn't record all the players. Sorry, everybody. I was playing Athreos, and somebody else was playing King Makar the Gold Cursed, and he ended up winning with King Makar the Gold Cursed, plus Staff of Domination, plus Thousand Year Elixir, plus Magus of the Coffers, which Staff of Domination is sort of like the Swiss Army knife of any Magic game. It lets you do anything. So he was able to draw his deck off of that, and since he could untap his Magus of the Coffers as much as he wanted, he had infinite mana, and he cast an infinite Exsanguinate for all the life.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool, actually. King Makar was pretty interesting.
Living Plane is $140.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. I mean, I think it's on the reserve list, which is one of the major reasons why it's so expensive.
Nate, you have a King Makar list, don't you?
Yeah, it's vehicles.
Yep.
King Makar vehicles. And Cormus Bell is 40 cents.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
Doesn't Cormus Bell only hit swamps, Nate?
Yep.
It does. Luckily, there was a recent reprint of Urborg.
Yeah. And that's $15 right now. So for $15.25, you can do what Living Plane does for $140.
That seems like a cheaper 2-card combo.
Yeah, it is.
It's also a 2-card combo that can be run in any color identity.
That's true.
Yeah, any deck can use Urborg, people.
Yeah, it's got no mana color in it. Or it's got no
no mana symbols.
Mana symbol.
No mana symbols on the text. So Urborg and Karma, Urborg and Spreading Algae. I've been looking at that one lately. It's cute.
What does that do? Spreading Algae.
Spreading Algae, it's a 1-mana green enchantment that you can only enchant a swamp, and if that land is tapped, then the land goes away, and Spreading Algae goes back to your hand.
Ooh. That seems nice.
Yeah. So you can hit that pesky Homeward Path or someone else's Cabal coffers. Just take them out.
No, those are my coffers.
Now they're the graveyard's coffers.
I got to pick up a promo Cabal coffers for $20 at the GP. That was a really nice find.
Cool. Thanks, Dean, for recounting the events at GP Richmond. Now, I'll talk about some stuff that happened at GP Vegas this past weekend. About a week ago by the time this comes out. So I went to GP Vegas and just played Commander. Didn't play any of the events. Just played Commander.
No Legacy?
No Legacy.
No Modern?
No Modern.
No Sealed.
No Standard. No Vintage.
No two-headed giant?
No Frontier. No Two-Headed Giant. Just Commander. Commander.
Well, one question about that. Did you play in sanctioned pods or just for fun on the side?
Oh, just for fun. I'm not aware that there were any sanctioned Commander events.
Oh, interesting. There were there were at GP Richmond. They were $10 to play. Yeah, you got prize points.
Okay.
Cool.
So I'll recount the games. I didn't take great notes, but I took some notes. The first game, I played with Sean Tabaris of the Commander's Brew. He had a Guafa Hazid, who's putting bribery counters on people. He didn't get much of a chance to do that, though. There was a Austin, James Albach, played Angry Omnath, and that went off pretty fiercely with the tokens. Dan Kraus one of our listeners. He played Wart the Raid Mother. And I was playing Yeleva, Nephalia's Scourge. So Sean got a turn 1 Signet and Soul Ring out. That was great. Dan got a Burgeoning and a pretty good Goblin Swarm going that I cast a Washout and put them all back in his hand, got rid of the tokens. But I should have saved the Washout because Austin got those Omnath tokens and he had enough of them that board wipes were no longer acceptable because anyone that cast the board wipe would just get killed by all the dying Omnath tokens. And he won the game because he smashed everyone with the tokens.
Sean couldn't get enough bribery counters out?
Oh no, there was at least a dozen tokens out by that point. It was pretty quick. So the next game I played with Sean. Again, he played his Kaineo Sentiro group hug deck. Andy Hull also joined us. He played his Riku Epic Experiment deck that he talked about in a recent episode. For this game, I played Mare Bear. Dan was with us again, and he played New Selvala, the green one that taps for mana.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Draws you when you got big dudes.
Yeah. And Richard, I didn't catch his last name, he played a Derevi. And I got some pretty good milling with Mare Bear.
You want to say what Mare Bear does again, just for those who might not be familiar?
Okay, so Mare Bear, she's a 1/1 human. I think she's just a human. And if you tap her, she can take control of a target creature. Now, she does not untap at all during your untap step, so you need some shenanigans to untap her. But if she does become untapped or leaves play, then the creature that you took gets destroyed. And so to prevent reoccurrences, the Mare Bear deck includes Graveyard Exile, like a lot of Graveyard Exile. Almost all the Graveyard Exile in blue, black, and white. I took out Bazaar of Wonders. That one was not efficient enough, but it still has Planar Void, Leyline of the Void, Relic of Progenitus, Rest in Peace, Morning Tide, and there might be some else. Oh, I added Watchers of the Dead, the recent cats.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nate, I'm starting to worry about you. I think you might be obsessed with this void.
I'm just making sure everybody's cards don't come back.
Making sure they stay dead.
If you get them off the board, they should stay off the board.
Okay.
I don't think anyone loves Exile as much as you do, Nate.
I do love it.
You sure do.
And it causes a certain kind of terror in my opponents. Many of them haven't really experienced this, having their cards exiled.
Some people really hate getting milled, but Nate's decks are like super mill, because if you have some kind of graveyard shenanigans, you can get your milled cards back. Not when you play against Nate. Your stuff is gone forever always.
Yeah, it is. And that strategy was actually inspired by playing against Sean Watson,
who loves the graveyard.
Yeah, he likes to bring things back. Like a Grey Merchant of Asphodel, he'll bring it back a bunch of times. I'll get into that later. So, Andy didn't get to cast Epic Experiment, but he did get an early Metallurgic Summoning.
That's a good card for that deck for sure.
And he got it out early enough that he had a pretty good wall of constructs of various sizes that were enough to pound everybody.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah.
What did you steal that game?
Oh, I don't think I stole much of anything that game.
Oh.
So sad.
Did Andy end up winning?
He did end up winning.
That's a card that will, by itself, take things over.
Yeah, so whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you get a free construct token with an XX of that card's CMC. And he cast a bunch of them and got a bunch of tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems really good. I played that in Baral.
That was actually in my Shu Yun deck for Brain in the Jar.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense for sure.
Yeah. After that, I went to the Command Zone party.
So what was the party like? Was it just games, or were there like side games and prizes and stuff.
It was a room full of tables. It was packed. They ran out of room. People were on the floor in the adjacent room at the height of it because there wasn't enough table space, just playing games. They did break out free conspiracy drafts, but I preferred to play Commander because, as a guilty secret, I don't like drafting. Yeah.
Oh.
I just like playing Magic, so I'm usually just down for whoever or wherever and whatever. Just, hey, you want to play Magic? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's do that. What format? Okay. It doesn't matter.
What format? Okay, I like that. So you must really hate conspiracy among all draft formats, since draft matters in conspiracy.
I like some of the cards in the conspiracy set, but I'm not big on drafting, and I'm not big on the cards that pay attention to what you're doing when you're drafting, because I don't like drafting in the first place. So, yeah. So I just kept playing Commander, and there were enough people there that also wanted to keep playing Commander, and so we did.
Yeah, sounds good.
So what were those games like?
So the first game I played, I think I played Mare Bear the whole time.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I played Mare Bear against Mike, who had an Alluro deck, and Ruben, who had a Saskia deck.
That's Ruben Bressler from the Magic Mike's podcast.
And Rich, who had a Vile Smasher and Thrasios deck. Some highlights from the game. The Saskia player, Ruben, he had a lot of doubling effects. I was able to steal and destroy his Gisela early on, which delayed the inevitable by a couple turns. And he got out in Pathbreaker Ibex and Dictate of the Twin Gods to kill a couple of us. But it was Rich who played the great trick that you might have seen from my Damia deck, where you play Omnixilus the Fallen and then Boundless Realms.
Ah, sure.
And then you do a bunch of damage. And then you have a giant Omnixilus. So it's win-win. Win.
just mono win.
Mono win. The next game, I played Mare Bear with Henry Stukenborg.
Hey, that guy's our editor.
Yeah, he is. He's the editor at EDHREC, and he looks at our articles and makes sure we have enough commas in our sentences and that we don't capitalize keywords too much.
And we make sure we capitalize EDHREC for branding.
Yes, all caps. And then who else did you play?
Chris Thacker, and he had a Saskia deck, which is, I think it's an upgraded version of the Kresh the Blood Braided deck that he's been playing for a couple years.
Oh, yeah, I've played against that Kresh deck.
And Dan Kraus, again, he had his Krenko deck. Kept getting rid of his Krenko, so he wasn't able to really get his tokens going.
Well, that's what you gotta do with Krenko.
Yeah. And Saskia did okay, but it was Henry's Gonti deck that came out with the Grey Merchant of Asphodel 3 times and killed everybody.
Yeah, Henry is very proud of his Gonti deck. He likes it.
He should be.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's a very good mono black deck.
Let's see, the next one I played against Sean Watson with his Ailey Eternal Pilgrim. There was Mark. I didn't catch his last name. He played Bruce Tarl and Ikra Shadiki. And Gerald Steele, who played an Atraxa deck where every card was foiled. It was an Atraxa Super Friends. Every card was foil. So he's got a super foil deck.
Wait a second. You can only have one copy of foil.
No, they were shiny. All his cards were shiny.
Oh, the shiny foils.
Yeah.
Did you guys all have to crack out sunglasses?
No, I was sitting at a good angle so that the lights weren't the angle of the lights weren't glaring into my face, unless I moved a foot to the right.
I'd hate to be the guy next to you then.
Yeah, I think he might have caught on fire at one point. We had enough removal on Gerald's Planeswalkers that he wasn't too much of a problem. Sean was doing his trick with Emeria Shepherd and Grey Merchant of Asphodel, where he would play Grey Merchant of Asphodel with Emeria Shepherd out. He would sacrifice Grey Merchant of Asphodel, and then he would play a Plains and get Grey Merchant of Asphodel out again. So, I was playing Marebear, I was doing some good exiling, and I got an Oblivion Sower out and took a bunch of lands from Mark, and I had a Retreat to Coral Helm out at the time, so I
wow, that's great.
was able to scry 1 13 times until I found an instant speed removal to get rid of the Grey Merchant of Asphodel, which was killing us. And then Mark had a Dark Depths and a Thespian Stage, and he gave it double strike with Bruce Tarl, double striking Merit Lage.
And lifelink, too.
To kill Sean Watson.
That seems lethal.
It's pretty lethal. Mark won that game.
Yeah, he did.
Well done, Mark.
He deserves it.
Mm-hmm. I recently added Dark Depths to Marebear.
With the Thespian Stage?
I don't think I have Thespian Stage, but I do have Thief of Blood and Aether Snap for other reasons. I figure if you already have Thief of Blood and Aether Snap, you might as well put in a Dark Depths.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I'm just a step away from doing that with in Gonti, because I already have Thespian Stage and Aether Snap in there right now.
What about Vampire Hexmage?
I don't think that's good enough.
Well,
No, me either. Unless I have another, I would need another reason to put it in there.
Unless your opponents are playing really cheap planeswalkers, really low CMC planeswalkers, so you need to get rid of them early, because it only gets rid of one of them.
Unless you can recur it.
Yeah, and in black you can do that. But Thief of Blood, you can recur that too, and it gets rid of all of them.
Yeah, Thief of Blood is sort of Vampire Hexmage for everything, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So that was cool. Day 2, that was the end of that party. Day 2, I played with Eric and Jack Landis. So Eric was playing Giza and Geralf. Is it Giza and Geralf or Giza and Geralf?
Giza.
I've always heard Giza and Geralf. Giza and Geralf?
Yeah, like Gerald.
Oh, okay.
That's...
It's like GIF.
Yeah. Except both at the same time. Eric was playing those siblings. Jack Landis had a Voral of the Hulklade, which it's pretty focused on putting counters on things. Things like a Colonian Hydra, which doubles its counters every time it attacks, and with Trample, it can kill everybody. And he did. Jack killed everybody.
You needed that Aether Snap, mate.
I did, but didn't come up with it. And that was my Marebear loss that time. I should mention I lost every game I played except the very last one.
That's a heck of a weekend.
But I kept plugging away. So the last 2 games I played Yeleva, Nephalia Scourge. I played against Chris Fitzgerald. He had a Kega the Tide Star, which I haven't seen that very often. It's the mono blue dragon that when it dies, you can take a creature. A funny thing about mono blue decks, they have a lot of clone effects. And with the legendary rule, if there's nothing else on the board that you want to clone, you can just clone Kega.
Ooh.
And then Kega dies. And you can take someone like my Yeleva and do stuff with
That's an interesting build idea for that deck.
Yeah. And at the time, Yeleva had in her spellbook 2 extra turn spells and an Army of the Damned.
Uh-oh.
That seems like a winning combination.
But it did not win. Dun, dun, dun. Also playing in that game were his friend Shaddy. I didn't get his last name. He was playing Sidisi Brood Tyrant. And Anthony was playing Queen Marquesa. Now, here was a trick. I played Rise of the Dark Realms, and then Anthony had a Sunforger. He did something to put Wild Ricochet from his graveyard into his deck, used Sunforger to get Wild Ricochet, copied my Rise of the Dark Realms, so it was on the stack and would happen before my Rise of the Dark Realms, so he got all the creatures.
Oh, that jerk.
and then he killed everybody with those
He
creatures.
sniped you.
Yeah, he sniped me. So Anthony won that game.
Yeah, proving once again that copy effects are actually quite powerful.
Yeah, they are. Copying spells. Unless you're playing against someone who only plays creatures, like Rurik Thar.
Well, that's why you play clones.
Yeah.
Copying anything. Creatures, spells, lands. You can copy lands, man. Ooh.
It's the second game with the same group. I played Yeleva again. Chris played his Karthus. I guess Chris really likes dragons, because that deck had a lot of dragons. He got Scourge of the Throne out and did a couple extra combat attacks, and that was pretty scary. Shaddy had a pretty good Kothafed deck, which I don't see very much, but it had enough life gain to offset the Kothafed penalty.
I think I mentioned this before. Johnny Crass has a pretty sick Kothafed deck that he played against me.
Yeah, I haven't played against that yet.
Yeah, you gotta give it a try. It's pretty brutal. What was this guy running? Was Shoddy running any land destruction or just creature destruction mostly?
I don't remember any land destruction coming out, but yeah, there was stuff being destroyed. He got enough card draw out of what was going on. And Anthony was playing Brian Stoutarm this time. But for this game, the hero was, as it usually is with Yeleva, Mizzix's Mastery.
Oh.
That card is busted.
Yeah. And at the time, my graveyard had a bunch of spells, but among them were Bribery, with which I could search for someone else's deck, and hey, the best creature in here is Grey Merchant of Asphodel in Shaddy's Kothafed deck, and so I drained him a bit, and there was also a Clone Legion in my graveyard, so I could copy all target players' creatures, and I can target myself and get another Grey Merchant of Asphodel. And I won that game! Yay!
How many Grey Merchants?
Oh, just 2, but
That's enough.
the life totals were low enough that 2 was enough.
Grey Merchant always gets better and the more you have of him.
Or the more times you can get him out. Yeah, Grey Merchant featured prominently in several games this weekend. And just now, I got back from a game with the Lady Planeswalker Society, where we played a 6-player game, and I had Mare Bear. I was playing with, let's see, I don't have everyone's last name, but I was playing with Rosanna, who had a Trostani deck. Nikki had a Freyalise deck, which was just the Elven Menace was rising. There were elves all over the place. Engie was playing Kalemni, which it did okay at getting big creatures out. But since I was playing Mare Bear, I could just take stuff. Mark had an Azuri Claw of Progress, which was getting beat on because everyone would kill his Azuri. And Nathan, who is not me, had a Kalia deck, which had some great creatures for me to take. And I did. I took a Reaver Demon, I took a Teriel Reckoner of Souls, and used the Teriel Reckoner of Souls to get something else. And I took Nikki's Terastodon, and I got a Graveyard Lock with Planar Void and Morning Tide to get rid of everything that was already there.
Yeah.
And I got a Phoenix out.
Yeah,
so I used my Phoenix. Yeah, I used my Phoenix with these large creatures to actually mill out Freyalise. At the same time that she killed me with an overrun, I instant speed. I took Engie's Jareth, Leon, and Titan, used him as a blocker, so he had 14 toughness, and I had a Sire of Stagnation, and Phoenix had Devotion, so that was 14 more toughness, and tapped him to mill the last 28 cards of her library as I died.
Valiantly.
And then I left and came here to record this podcast.
You've had a very busy weekend, Nate.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Can you clarify the name of that playgroup, Nate? So it's the Lady Planeswalker Society?
The Lady Planeswalker Society.
But it's open to all genders?
It is open to all genders. You don't have to be a lady to play, but you have to have a personality that you can respect ladies when you are in their presence, which not everyone meets that criteria.
Sadly.
But all Magic players should.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, they should. Absolutely.
So in a couple months from now, what's going to happen in Minneapolis?
Why, Grand Prix Minneapolis is going to happen.
Hey.
Yeah. In fact, it's August 4th through the 6th. The format is standard, but that doesn't mean you need to sign up or spend any actual money to go into the Grand Prix. Grand Prix are actually open to just kind of hang out and play, turns out.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Me too, sort of.
It'll be at the Minneapolis Convention Center, so right in the middle of downtown Minneapolis. And if you want to play a game with me, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at Detective Yarmus. I will be there, probably looking at things and hoping to play Magic instead of just stand in a crowd. So instead of being part of the traffic, why don't we just sit down and play Magic? That seems a lot more fun. As an added bonus, I do know that Dana and Max from Commander Masterclass will also be joining me at GP Minneapolis, so that's going to be super fun.
Yay, Dana and Max.
All right. And they're currently in the process of rebranding their podcast?
Mm-hmm.
That's the news.
Yeah.
All right.
So by the time GP rolls around, they might have their next episode out, so that'll be great.
All right. We'll keep you all updated on their status.
Yeah. We definitely wish them the best of luck in their transition right now.
All right. So Dean and I have been talking about our last games for about an hour now. I don't know that we need to talk more about our last game.
No.
All right. Pets. The Pets Update. 4 a.m. shiatsu massage. My cats are experts.
Ooh.
Unsolicited shiatsu massage.
Oh, that's less good.
Shiatsu, is
Yeah,
that
at 4 a.m.
Is that Japanese for with daggers?
I'm not sure the actual translation, but it's not really daggers. It's more like very
Fists.
sharp hairbrush, I guess. Very small, sharp hairbrushes. Very fine points.
Oh, that sounds pleasant.
Kind of kneading, yeah.
And what better time
Yeah.
than 4 a.m., right?
Well, it starts off the day, I guess.
I mean, you usually have to schedule weeks ahead of time for these types of things, Nate. And here you are complaining about getting one every morning at 4 a.m.
Hey, you didn't?
Hey, I'm not
You didn't
complaining.
complain.
I'm living the good life.
There we go.
Living the dream.
You wake up to one. Let's see. Pets update. My cat. She likes to record the podcast with me. She just jumped up on the table right now, actually. She wants to come over here and sit in front of me between the microphone and I. So, if you can hear...
So you have a pop guard.
Yeah. If you can hear some bumping around noises, that would be our cat, who was formerly Miri, like the cat warrior. But now she's just me.
Yeah, now that I have a summer break, I'm hanging out with my dog a lot more, and he seems to have unlocked the ability to literally sleep for 24 hours straight.
I have that power.
He's awake the next day, like all full of energy, but boy, that's a lot of sleep.
How old is he?
Wow.
He's 8. He just loves sleep.
Yeah, he's kind of an old man.
There is that, but he's also extremely low energy, and he finds no greater pleasure than sitting next to somebody and then just drifting off. So, and he's been that way since he was 2 years old.
So he's living the dream too.
He quite literally.
He's dreaming the life, Nate.
Oh, nice. Nice one.
Yeah. Can we take a minute to ramble on about spoilers for a minute here?
Oh, sure, if you want.
Because there are some freaking sweet spoilers so far. Have you guys been following them? Nate, you were there, right?
Yeah.
They were announcing spoilers while you were at the GP?
They were announcing spoilers about 20 feet away, but we were in the middle of a game, so we couldn't really run over there. But yeah, there's I've seen 2 new versions of Nicol Bolas, which means I'm going to make a deck that has 3 versions of Nicol Bolas in it. And that's going to happen.
You could do 4 versions, Nate. You could do the creature and then all 3 planeswalkers.
I'm not big on the creature, but I think I can make a Vile Smasher with somebody blue and put 3 different versions of Nicol Bolas in there.
So this will be old news by the time the podcast comes out, but just today they announced the Scorpion God. And he looks...
Oh, Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah.
No, that's the Scorpion King.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson is the Scorpion God of
Oh.
Amonkhet, and he's super sweet. So he's a 3 black-red for a legendary creature god. He's a 6/5. Whenever a creature with a -1/-1 counter on a die is draw a card, you can pay 1 black and blue to put a -1/-1 counter on another target creature, and when the Scorpion God dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So it gets around commander checks. Oh, I'm super hyped now. I mean, we got the Scarab God and what's the
Locust?
Yes, the Locust God
probably,
coming out
yeah.
in the next 2 days.
Mm.
So maybe we'll.
And at the time we record this, we don't know what they are.
Yes.
Nope.
But
My bet is that they will continue the naming convention, though, of the Blank God.
I hope so. I really like that, actually.
Yeah, they don't have actual names because in the story their names were erased from existence.
Everybody forgot them.
Mm-hmm.
Who dat? New plane, who dis?
I might be misremembering, but I saw the Scorpion King movie a while ago, and it was better than I expected.
Yeah, but it was still terrible.
It was an early Dwayne The Rock Johnson acting debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was before any of the Fast and Furious, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you could get the same graphics that they used for his Scorpion King form on your N64.
What?
It's
Scorpion King N64? Was it a... I don't think I ever played that one.
No. I'm saying that the graphics were about as good as the N64.
Oh, poor graphics.
Well, there was a Game Boy Advance game, at the very least.
Oh. Today I learned.
Yeah.
But once they release all 3 of these gods, we'll definitely have to each brew one of them and play a game or 2 with them.
And fight it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are you claiming the Scorpion?
Yeah, I'll definitely take the Scorpion God. I've got some great ideas about what to do with them.
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in black for -1 counters.
I'm going to be using Everlasting Torment. Because that card is awesome.
Oh, Wither. Giving them Wither.
Yeah, giving everything Wither.
Oh. So, next time, we're each going to brew up one of the new gods, and we're going to play games with them and talk about it. For the song this week, since I think I might be getting a sore throat, let's play one of my old classics. Visit us at patreon.com/commandertime.
You can find me on Twitter at Grubfellow.
At Detective Yarmits.
At Mr. Plorg. Everybody needs some romance when you're on the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Navigator, you're my soulmate.
Oh.
Let me show you how I feel.
Oh, yeah.
You're showing up on a boat. You're taking me for a ride. I don't know how you blink so often with your cold dead eyes. Loving a navigator. Pairing it up when we hit the ground. Loving a navigator. One in a blue and we go to town. Loving a navigator. Pairing it up when we hit the ground. Loving a navigator. One in a blue and we go to town. Ooh, you're my navigator. Showing me the scene.